everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. Welcome to Roland Comtois' Soul Stories. Roland is an international medium, author, spiritual teacher, and so much more. Ladies and gentlemen, your host, Roland Comtois.
Oh, well, thank you everybody for being here. I'm so excited to be with you tonight. We're excited to be here with you to go on this wonderful journey of Soul Stories. I mean, let's face it, Soul Stories has been a TV show, a radio show, a podcast, and now we're a Facebook
A
show.
headache.
Hey, we do a lot of things. We go to a lot of places, and we're very excited to be with you tonight to go on this journey. Diane and I have committed to do this with you again every Wednesday, at least for a little while, to see how it goes and to see how you like the show, because really, it's all about you. It's all about you. It's all about
is.
you. Right, isn't it, Diane?
Absolutely.
Hey, how are you doing these days?
Well, what is this day in quarantine? When we look back on this, I'm sure it will be very interesting, very interesting. I had a tough time yesterday. My energy was nowhere to be found, and everything that I profess to everyone else to do, I had a hard time doing it for myself. So, but I did. Eventually the bootstraps came up, and I got it together. And thank God I can go outside.
Oh man.
Feel bad for anyone who's confined, because that is absolutely my sanity. Being able to go outside and get grounded, and then I come in and I'm like, and you're right, the birds have been crazy.
They have been.
It's like they're coming right up to me. They're like, well, what are you doing in my yard?
They're chirping louder. The whole Earth's vibration seems to be ascending or raising or something, right? Because it sounds and feels and smells different out there.
It does. It definitely feels different.
Do you think that's happening because, we've all been pushed to focus our energy? We're isolated, we're quarantined, and we're really in this very interesting state of being. When I walk out there, I feel alone. Except I'm with the earth, and I'm walking the driveway. I'm smelling the grass. I'm smelling the trees. My senses are heightened somehow. I think it's because of all this.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I also think we went through a period of shock. I think a lot of us were in shock that this was happening, that we were going through this, and we were navigating through it, and now we're coming to the realization of it, right? This is what, the third, fourth week for some people.
Yeah.
So really coming into the realization of what this is and the magnitude of it, around the globe. It's just, it's intense.
It is intense. It really is intense. So, before we get into who knows what we're going to talk about tonight, we never know, I mean,
I have lists.
Oh my God. And I've got nothing. You've got lists.
I have questions from our viewers.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Information. I have some interesting things about the purple papers. Well, I like that on this show you plan to feature a purple paper. Do you have one chosen for tonight?
Well, you know what happened? When I was getting ready for the show, I went through the purple papers, and they're right here. You probably can't see them, but they're right over my shoulder.
I can see them.
There, right? And so is my book, by the way. And just so you know, all of you that are paying attention to the show tonight and part of it, someone out there is going to win a copy of my book tonight.
Nice.
So remember that. Someone's going to get a chance to win Signs of Spirit tonight, and we're going to make that announcement either at the end of the show, or we'll come on in a few minutes after the show and make the announcement. But when I was looking through the purple papers, I kept hearing the name Mark, M-A-R-C, and it was very strong. So I went into the purple papers and I pulled out the Mark papers. Now, there are two of them that I think belong to the same person, and that's where this gets really interesting, right? And we've seen this happen before, right?
Yes, multiple papers.
For tonight. Tonight, we're talking about this Mark. And it was recorded on 3/24/2019, over a year ago now. He doesn't believe, or at least he didn't believe until the end, about how he was going to pass away, or how he was feeling. He said he felt weird during the last day. He said he felt a little confused about the things that were happening. And then he was gone, he says. and he talks about not being very settled. The second paper, which was written 3 months after that one on June 7th, right, Diane?
Right.
He talks about, and my gut is telling me it's the same person. And he's saying that he did get sick and he couldn't believe that he was sick. And this other paper says he couldn't believe what happened to him near the end. So tonight's featured purple papers, which will be posted in the stream after the show, is this one here.
And it's highlighted there, or is that underlined?
Well, it's, anytime there's some yellow on the paper, it means that it's an important part of the story. So Mark says he could not believe that he was sick. And then, of course, I love you, right? Diane, we got to end with an I love you.
That's right.
If we don't end with an I love you, then I'm not going to do the job, because I have made a commitment.
You're all about love.
I am, lady. I am. Amen. Anyway, it is all about love, though. No matter how difficult the relationship is, no matter what happened, the last words, the last moment, the last everything has to be about love, no matter the kind of relationship these people have. Now, wait a minute. Before we go any further, these are our featured purple papers tonight, but I want to talk about the love aspect, Diane. Give me a sec here, because we did an event. I mean, I did an event and we were all there together. It was in Rhode Island. There was 135, 40 people there. And there was a lady in the front row who was about to hear I love you from her mother for the first time in her 70 years of life.
I was at that. Yeah, I remember that. That was at the courthouse in town. That was an incredible moment. I think the entire crowd was affected by that.
I mean, when the audience could hear her reaction, because what happened first was the mother said her story, then offered a little apology, then offered a bigger apology,
right.
And then there was that moment of love that was delivered through me, because it really isn't about me. It was delivered through me simply because I was the guy there, to the woman in the audience. So I think love is an important aspect of the experience, no matter how difficult or challenging the relationship at all. I really do.
I think it's even more profound when there was a lifetime of no love, no affection, abuse in a lot of ways. And then to have it culminate with a message written down on a piece of paper, and then that story accompanying it, saying, I love you, and I'm sorry. Like, wow.
Listen, the lady sent me an email after that event, and it said, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly what she said, but it was something like, I finally was able to sleep for the first time in 60 years.
Oh my God.
I mean, if you can't make up those moments.
Yeah.
It can't be orchestrated. Now, I've said this almost in every audience, and I'm going to say it over and over and over again. I am going to say I love you as much as I possibly can. But when I'm saying it to that one woman who's elderly, whose mother was terrible to her, that I love you is an important part of her own healing, and gives her permission to fully live her life somehow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a powerful thing. So again, these are the featured papers for tonight. Now, I said to you that I kept hearing the name Mark, and it was getting stronger and louder. And it wasn't Mark with a K, it was Mark with a C.
Which is unusual. Yeah.
And I did pull this out as well. It's a second Mark. It's a third Mark paper, right? But this person left unexpectedly. And so the reason why I bring this up tonight, Diane, is even though the name is the same, the story is different. The image on the paper is different.
It is.
Right? It's telling a completely different story than what the other two Marks. This guy left unexpectedly. He didn't have a chance to get back home, and he's telling that kind of story to his loved ones.
So if someone is resonating with either of those papers, what should they do? How can they reach out to you?
The first step is really to private message me, and then I'll direct you from there. And then we'll organize, once I look at the email or whatever it is that you're going to send us, a note or whatever, I'm going to look at that. I'm going to look at the paper, and I'm going to make a decision if it resonates inside. And then we'll organize a phone conversation, which, by the way, Diane, is free. I
That's
don't charge
wonderful.
people. I did say this morning, though, on my live broadcast that, you know, if you don't call me and you don't show up for your appointment, we don't have time to reschedule them time and time again, right? So it's important just to, if you make the appointment, let's follow through to the end.
Right. I've seen your waiting list.
Yeah,
You don't
it's
make
long.
it put back down to the bottom again. Make the appointment.
Well, that's right. Or at least,
For the phone call.
yeah, just do the appointment. That would be beautiful.
Roland,
Uh,
what's interesting is how you were talking about how the love message came through after a lifetime of no love and abuse and whatever. And then now the mother has a healing, I guess, on the other side, and she's communicating with her daughter. Many of the questions that were submitted for tonight to you were about our loved ones, and do they hear us when we pray? Do they hear us when we're in trouble? Do they know what we're going through right now with this pandemic? Are they helping us? Like, what's going on? They want to know, like, what's happening on the other side,
yeah.
you know, and you know, are our prayers for naught, or are they really listening to us?
Well, that's really a great
There were
question.
many of the same question, you know, does Annie hear me when I pray for her? Does, you know, Heather hear me when I talk to her? So
Yeah.
are my mom and dad okay? So it's pretty much what we all want to know, the same thing.
We do want to know the same thing, and I think that they hear us. This is a question I've been getting a lot for the last 4 weeks is, are they looking out for me? Are they taking care of me? Are we going to be okay? Do they know what kind of trouble we're in? I can tell you what they're not doing. They're not lounging by a pool. I can tell you that much, you know.
I wish I was.
Yeah. They're not lounging around. I think because we're going through what we're going through, we have with us, now you have to decide if you believe this, an invisible entourage of energy surrounding us. And in that space are our loved ones, our angels, guides, guardians, ascended masters, teachers, whatever you believe in. But I do absolutely believe that they are part of us. If they are part of our love, they also must be part of our struggle. There must be a balance in that space. So when we're struggling and when we're working through so many things, I think they're talking to us. Now, I think they talk to us, Diane.
I
I
believe
think they
that too.
send us
Well,
signs.
you're evidence of it, but I certainly believe that.
So, but in this time of need right now, I think they're standing by our side. They're sending us little tiny moments, messages, something that helps us to move forward. Now, you know, you've heard me say the story many times before. I don't think your loved one reincarnated as a fox, but when the fox crosses the road,
Or a butterfly or a
or a
dragon.
butterfly, right, it causes you to think about them. And what it does, it redirects your focus and your attention to a place or space that's positive, right? So then you feel fulfilled, or you feel supported, or you feel connected. So do they hear us? Absolutely. Should you keep talking to them? Yes. Are your prayers important? Yes. Those prayers cause you, again, to find that focal point that allows you to have a wonderful and meaningful conversation with those that have passed, with the energy that exists out there. That's my answer.
Well, that's a good answer. So I hope everyone's satisfied with that, and
Yeah.
continue to pray and continue to talk. And, you know, I always, you know, you taught me, ask, believe, receive.
Yeah.
You know, ask for the signs, ask for some help. And if your belief is strong, you have no blocks. So then be open and willing to receive. And the signs and the messages, they're there.
Here's what I want to do. I don't mean to interrupt you, but here's what I want to do. I want to give you all a new recipe. Forget about, what did you just say? Ask, believe, receive. This is what I want you to do. I want you to believe first. I want you to believe first. Forget about the old teachings. We're done with that. We're moving forward. We're evolving. I want us to believe first. I want us to believe because in that state of believing, we begin to receive moments. When I think about, when I believe that my mother's with me, I have moments with her. When I believe that the angels are with me, I have moments with them. So the first step, here we go. Step one, we're changing the story, is believing. I don't know if I even spelled it right, but that's okay. Believing is the first step. Receiving is the second step. Then something's flying around me.
It's a sign.
I gotta, is that my mother? No, I'm only kidding. And then when we accomplish this, then go there to asking for support. Let's go to belief first, Diane. Let's try that.
Sounds good.
I'm glad you like it. Hey, guess what else I brought with me tonight?
Oh, good. What? Goodie?
I've never, ever, ever showed this ever. This is the very first purple paper ever written.
Oh my gosh.
It came out of the vault tonight. The
I've
vault.
never seen that.
This
Oh,
is,
like a butterfly.
it does look like a butterfly. This is the first purple paper ever written, and it used to be on something called Channel Messages for the Soul. It's when I used to use my junior last name. I don't use it any longer. And this was the very first one from the Walcott family.
Oh
Now,
my gosh, the Walcott family.
this is the Walcott family. What you notice is these purple papers have evolved from this kind of experience to this, right? They have become more detailed. They have become more something's happened to them. But this is the original purple paper.
Wow.
And I thought for our second show here on live Facebook, that the audience should see how these papers started. So I just wanted to share that with all of you while I was thinking about it.
Roland, I was also, because of your book, I was also thinking maybe we could show a paper from the back of the book for those people who don't have the book yet.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Because there are many unclaimed papers here in the back of the book. And I kind of settled on this one from 2016.
Okay.
18th, 2016. That's the date it was written. It might not have any reference to anything about the person, but sometimes it does. Sometimes it's a birthday or an anniversary.
Now, what does it say on the paper?
It says, "Do you remember that lilac bush I planted when you were a kid? It was so beautiful. I loved what you've done to honor me. I'm so happy on the other side. Oh yes, I found my people." Oh my God. Did you pull that paper for tonight?
It's right here.
Wow.
It's in my presence.
Oh my God.
So let me share.
Give me out, Comtois.
Let me say something to you about this purple paper, though. I believe, now listen, everybody, if you're listening to me right now, I am convinced right now that this paper belongs to someone listening and paying attention and participating in our show right now. Now, we can't see the stream. We don't know what's happening on Facebook. We don't know how many people are listening in because I haven't figured out how to do that yet on Zoom. But I am convinced this paper belongs to someone out there.
We didn't arrange that, just so everybody knows. We didn't. Now I have something flying around.
No, it's your mother. It's your mother now.
Oh boy. How come I don't have a mug like Kathy Lee with a little wine in it or something?
You should, yeah, get
For
that in.
moments like this.
Oh my God.
That was funny.
That is incredible.
We picked the same paper and we got the same bug flying by.
Actually, I see the bug flying around you now. I see it. It's behind you.
You're not going to make me jump out of my chair, are you?
No.
It's not crawling on me, is it?
No. Anyways, this paper, I feel very convinced this paper. Oh my God, wait a minute. Hold on a minute. hold on a minute. Not only do I feel convinced that this purple paper belongs to someone in the audience who's listening right now, I'm also very convinced that this person lives in Rhode Island
Wow.
right now. Now, I think I have to go to my phone and look at the stream and see what's happening here, because I think this paper belongs to somebody who's listening to the show right at this moment.
Steve's going to check on his computer too.
All right, that'd be better if you check, because I can only handle one machine at a time.
No, you can't even do that.
That's true. That's very true. So I believe that this this paper belongs to somebody right now. I know it. I feel it very strongly. And I know that someone who's paying attention is going to see it and is going to know that that paper was written for them. Also, I want to remind you tonight, if you are interested in winning a copy of this book, we will announce the winner later on. Because the show is live right now, it will air and play, and we want everyone to have a chance to win the book. So tomorrow morning, I will announce the winner of this book, which we will send you by mail.
And all they have to do is say hello in the
That's
comments.
it. They have to say yes.
They have to say yes.
Yeah, that way then you know they're interested in the book. What other interesting questions did you get for tonight's show?
Well, as I said, many of them were about, is everyone going to be okay? They want to know if we're all going to be okay from this.
Yeah. Well,
And-
can I answer that?
Yeah,
I think we are going to be okay, for sure. I do think we're going to be okay, but we have to follow the protocol that's been put into place. You know, as a nursing professional, we have to follow the protocol that's put into place. We have to make sure we keep social distancing going. We have to make sure that if we are out there, because you do have to food shop and you do have to do those things, you keep that 6-foot window between the two of you.
even in the house.
You have to make sure you wash your hands. You have to make sure you do all those things. I think we're going to get through this, but we're still, making our way through.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be okay. That's really how I feel about all that.
All right. Another one was, what words of wisdoms do our loved ones have for us and humanity regarding this coronavirus?
Well, that you bring up a very interesting question. And I said this before, we're about to launch a program called Lessons from a Virus. And there is a teaching, this as difficult as this is for all of us. And I think the biggest lesson right now, the biggest thing that I'm learning really about everything is that hold on a minute. Joan, that is your mother. Joan, that's your mother sending you this purple paper. Your mother wants me to thank you for making the garden look so beautiful. She wants me to thank you for putting everything in order. And every time you planted a seed, you thought of her. And every time that garden grows something magnificent, you think of her. She said you already believed that that purple paper was yours. You already believed that that purple paper was yours, Joan. Joan, it was written for you, from your mother, to compliment you on creating the most beautiful garden. She says that when you go out your door, your sliding door or the door to the backyard, you walk past a little section where you can sit, and then you take 2 steps out of the yard and you sit there and you think about her first, she says. When you go to the garden, Joan, you think about your mother first, even though you were crazy about your dad. So your mother says she wants you to remember the lilacs. She wants you to know that.
Wow.
Hold on. Joan, I've been waiting for you, Joan. I've been waiting for you since July 19th, 2016.
She's responding, yes.
She's responding yes?
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I should be shocked.
No, you know what, what's really even, why I want a mug with some wine in it from now on?
Why?
That question that I asked you about, do our loved ones, what words of wisdom do our loved ones have for humanity? That was from Joan.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No, and then you stopped me and you went off
On a
a
tangent.
story about this paper being for Joan.
This paper is for Joan.
Joan tonight.
Yeah, lucky Joan, it's all about you, girl. Oh, that's exciting. Oh my God, I still feel her mother's presence. It was written for her. It's taken this long for this paper to find its way to her, but it's her.
Wow.
And she knows it, Joan knows it, and the audience who's listening knows it. We're in this experience together. Look, you want to make a connection to your loved one, this is your moment. Right here, right now. I wish I had music behind me. If you want to make a connection to your people, this is that moment. Now, I know that it's hard. I know. And I know it's hard. And I know sometimes you say to yourself, is it my imagination? I know sometimes you say to yourself, did I just make that up?
Yeah.
I know sometimes you say to yourself, is this real? It's time for you to believe. It's time to believe. There's no more time to waste here. It's time to believe that the connection between you and your mothers and your fathers and your sisters and your brothers and your sons and your daughters and your grandparents and your friends, that this connection is real. It's invisible, yes. But when your heart gets fluttery and your mind gets overwhelmed with peace and joy, when a butterfly crosses your path or something magnificent happens, that's when the entire universe stands up and says, we've got you. Joan, I've been waiting for you. This purple paper was written for you on that date. That's how powerful this is.
Yeah, 4 years ago.
4 years.
4 years,
Hard to believe.
2016. That is, it's crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, when you think about it, I've been holding on to this one, which they weren't dated in the old days. They weren't even dated in the old days. I just scribbled things on papers. Now it's become this very formal way of spiritual communication.
I can't believe out of all the places and thousands of people you've seen, you haven't met any Walcott families.
Well, no, I have.
Oh, you have?
It's not their paper.
No.
Wait a minute though. I was in Maryland and a guy came up to me and said, "Oh my God, that's my paper. I lived on Walcott Street." And I said, "That's great. It's not for you, but it's great that you lived on Walcott Street."
I know. Well, sometimes people want a paper so badly they.
I know. I didn't laugh.
Planted a bush, but it wasn't a lilac bush. But maybe you got the bush wrong. You know?
Oh, I know. We've heard that a million times.
Yeah.
Look, while we are in this chaotic space, all of us, we're going to come together here because we can help each other, right? We can laugh, we can cry, we can be united, and all those beautiful things. And so
Feel better.
And we'll feel better. But any questions that you want to ask, present them in the stream. We'll take them for the next time that we come together. So anytime you have a question, just write it in, and if we can address something, I will. And if there's a purple paper back here meant to be yours, you'll get one when it's time. Anything else, Diane? Any other thoughts or questions?
Yes, some people were talking about how the planet seems to be healing.
Oh my God.
Birds at the top of the show, but you know, like there are many in Thailand and Japan. There's mobs of monkeys now, roaming the streets, and the dolphins came back to Venice. So it's the planet is like having a rebirth.
What about the pollution in California?
Yeah.
What about the pollution they said in China, I think it was?
Yes, all the emissions have lessened by so much. And well, there's less air traffic, there's the coal factories have shut down, the
Amazing.
China especially. So there's a lot less going on, fewer cars on the road. But it's short-lived because once we get back to some kind, the new normal, I'm sure it will escalate again.
You know, I think even the earth and Mother Nature needed some time alone, time for healing,
Break,
just like we
yeah,
need a break. I mean,
break.
it's tough to say that the coronavirus is the one giving us the break, but it is the one giving us the break, and it's very difficult to connect those two pieces together. But she, Mother Earth, needed a break.
I
She
think
needed a
so.
break from the intensity and the abuse of its energy, of its beauty, you know. So
Resources and
everything,
its
everything,
beauty, yeah.
everything about it, you know. So I find that so astounding that California's pollution levels are down and the birds are chirping and they're louder. And for some reason, as odd as it, even here in my wooded neighborhood,
Mhm.
the air smells fresher than it did before. There's something about it, you know, that I find very remarkable. Hey, look, this has been very thrilling being with you tonight. And as always, I know all of you out there love Diane, and I know that she is your favorite co-host, as she is mine. And
Thank
I
you, guys.
really, I really appreciate having the opportunity to be with you. And Diane and I have made a commitment to come back next week. So
Yes.
we will be back next Wednesday to do this all over again. So any questions you want to ask, put them in the stream, send them to
Yep.
me, send them to Diane, and we'll talk about it. And don't forget, we're going to give this book away, right? And next week, we have another special book that we're going to give away, but we're not going to talk about it right now, Diane. We're going to talk about it next week. Right now, you
Okay.
have a chance to win Signs of Spirit. Listen, I want to thank you all for joining us tonight on Soul Stories. Diane and I, Steve, all of us are very happy to be back with you. And always, Diane, thanks for your support.
Thank you, Roland.
And until next time,
Yeah.
we send you a lot of love. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.